following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Today is Thursday, April 11th, 2024, and we are officially 2 weeks away, 14 days from the NFL Draft in Detroit, Michigan, as we welcome you in to the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show, presented by Miller Lite, taste you can depend on. We've got a good crew with you today, as we are officially 2 weeks out. It's crazy to believe. I feel like we say that every time, but it is. Even more as we get closer and closer, the crazier, the crazier. We've got Zach Wolchuk, Brian Broaddus, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Yeomans with Chris Beam in the back, signing magazines for all those fans out there to enjoy. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. All right, Nick, we're getting there. Last couple weeks, any big gut feeling that you've got going on? Making a call 2 weeks out. Who's going to be the pick at 24?
Well, before we get there, before we even get to the draft stuff, Brian with the Masters hoodie over here reminds me that the Masters starts today. So it's always a great time of the year whenever the Masters gets going.
I thought you were going to say something about the color. I thought you were a sky blue guy.
I am a big sky blue guy,
You're
personally.
right. I've seen you in your sky blue.
Hey, there you go.
Big
You
time.
pay attention.
It's beautiful. You look at his shoes. They're probably sky blue. You got the orange? What do you got
Not
on?
today. Not today.
Darn.
Yeah, sorry
Darn
about
it.
that. Not today. Gut feeling of who do I think is
Who's
at
your gut
24?
feeling? Yeah.
I don't think Graham Barton is going to be there at 24, so my gut feeling is that they just trade back. I'm not going to give you a player because I don't know what that would look like because the trade back scenarios are all very multiple. But I think my gut feeling right now is that they trade back out at 24.
Okay. What do you think, Brian? Just gut feeling.
I think that he's on to something. I also feel like, though, it is going to be a center, though. I don't know which center. You mentioned Graham Barton. We'll see what happens with Powers Johnson as well at Oregon. What I'm starting to hear is there's some medical information that we're going to need to run down on some of these guys. So let's hope that doesn't deter anything that we've worked on so far. I've got a list of guys that I need to ask about. And so, hopefully in the next week we'll have a little bit clearer understanding. But there's some significant names that we need to follow up on for medical stuff to see if they're actually clear. Nothing worse than getting this draft and starting to work on it, and then all of a sudden you're wondering why a guy's sliding.
Sure.
And then you find out it's a medical situation. So, but to answer your question, I think they're going to take one of these centers. I like the idea about trading back, though, too, especially if the right pocket of players are there for you.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know my dream's Graham Barton. I'm with you, Nick. I think as we get closer to this draft, it's unlikely he's there at 24. I think a trade back is likely, and I'd go with Zach Frazier, the center from West Virginia, would be
In a
my
trade
gut
back
right
scenario.
now. In a trade back, yeah.
I like that.
Because I worry about, maybe Jackson Powers Johnson still goes ahead of you, but I wonder about, some of the medicals there that we've heard possibly could be a red flag. And look, Frazier's coming off an injury too, but I don't think he's got the long list of.
So is Barton.
Yeah, Barton is as well.
With the shoulder.
You've got the leg and the shoulder. Both have worked out, though. We've gotten to see him. I think we're both trending positive to be available for training camps.
Yep.
I think Graham Barton, if he's there, he's the pick. I'm right there with you guys. I think if he's at 24, it makes way too much sense. It really does. The personal or the position flex, the talent level, it all is there for 24. I don't think he'll be there. So I'm right there with you guys. I think it's either going to be a Jackson Powers Johnson or you're going to talk about one of these tackles, whichever one's at the top of their list. I would say it's probably a Marius Mims is probably my guess out of the tackles, but that's a guess at this point, really.
Can you guys throw a wild card? Just throw something that nobody's even thought about.
Kingsley Suamataia.
Yeah.
BYU?
I think
a good one.
As a tackle, maybe over a Guyton. I think that might be a guy absolutely that they could he was the 30 visit, so certainly it
Could you
is
throw
a
another
candidate.
position?
I think
other than an offensive lineman.
Edgerrin Cooper.
Out of
A&M
in the first?
as a trade back, yeah.
If you trade out of the first, is that more of a realistic opportunity?
I
Or
don't
if you're
think you
sitting
get
there
him
at
at 50.
29, 30.
I think even if you trade back with, let's say, Buffalo at 28, I think if you get wiped and maybe there's just you don't like the offensive lineman, I think Cooper's definitely in play.
Let me ask you a question here, and I've kind of discussed this with Kyle a little bit. For me, I think Graham Barton is the only player that would keep me at 24. I'm starting to lean towards the idea that Byron Murphy would keep me at 24 as well.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm not there yet, but I'm leaning towards that idea. What
That's
y'all
why I
think
asked
about
you that question. I felt like, though, is there going to be somebody there that we're really not thinking about that could be that guy? And Murphy, to me, makes a lot of sense
I would take Murphy.
for that. Would you take any of those corners?
It depends on who's on the board. If
If it was-
Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold are on the
Those
board,
would be
I
the
would
only
love
two.
The only two. So
Like
the
Nate
Wiggins from Clemson would
No.
do nothing for you guys?
No, I would
I'm
pass.
Good on, I'm good on
I
Wood.
think he will be there.
Would any of these edges do anything for you?
Verse would. I would take Verse there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
I'm with you on
open.
Verse.
We're open.
I would take
We're-
Latu there if he's there.
would
Even with the
consider Latu.
injuries, I'd still take him there. He's so dynamic.
Another thing about some of those big names being there, though, is that you have those same teams that are right there at 28, 32 that would love to jump up and grab
Yeah,
them just as
that's-
much as you would love to take them, which means that trade value is probably a little bit higher. You
Yeah.
can probably get more out of it. So if there is a Laiatu Latu or even a Jared Verse sitting there at 24 and, let's say Detroit hits you up, hey, would really love to come up and grab that pick. All right, why don't you give me your second? And we just we work from there. But
This is a great transition. We've already been talking about this a little bit. Our first segment today is mock drafts. We're going to go through all 7 of these first round mocks. I've got a scenario for you guys sitting on the board currently at 24. The pick before us, the Minnesota Vikings took Graham Barton from Duke. So he's off the
damn
board.
Vikings.
He is not available at 24.
damn Scandinavians.
You guys want to make a pick, or
Skull.
you trying to trade out of this? Because this is exactly what Brian just asked. There are some names here: Amarius Mims from Georgia, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, Jackson Powers Johnson, Tyler Nubin, who I know you like, Brian.
I do.
Out of Minnesota, Peyton Wilson, North Carolina State, Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU, and then basically the tackles that we've talked about: Tyler Guyton, center, and Zach Frazier still there. Braden Fisk is there from Florida State. Are you pulling the parachute? Are you getting out of that first round?
You
or are
mentioned a lot of
staying
good
here?
names, which to me means let's back up. Let's back it up.
Let me ask you this.
Back it up.
All right, what we have to figure out, though,
Where are you going?
Is this our best chance to recoup picks? Are we going to have another shot to do this?
I think this is your best
Yeah,
chance.
I think this is the best chance
Yeah,
to do it.
we're not going to have a shot in the second round. We don't feel like, right?
No.
Okay. If
Not as good as this.
If we don't, the question I now have is, I really do, and I would argue in a room. I would argue, and you argue about this before. Your stack is set, so all the arguing. I would argue that let's look at the center from Oregon. Let's really talk about what we're doing here. When we came into this draft, what were some of the things that we were talking about? What were some of our needs? What were some of the things? Is this guy, of all those guys that we're talking about, are we comfortable going away from a guy that might be the best player at that position? I don't know how you guys feel about it. Do you have Barton over Powers Johnson?
Yeah, and it's flipped within the last week and a half.
Okay, but
Look at
initially,
you flip-flopping. I
Yeah.
love it.
are you doing it because of the medical?
Yes.
Are you doing it because of the
Medical and instincts, intellectual, everything I've heard about Graham Barton and anybody who's had a conversation with him, he's the smartest player in this
Okay,
draft.
but we just lost him, right? We just
He's
lost
just
your
gone.
guy. Okay, so I need you now to kind of give me somebody else you're thinking about. And you're not interested in taking the center then at this point, are you?
I just feel like you could parachute back a few picks and still be able to pick up a position of need at, let's say, 28, 29, 30. And then if you don't get the center, you circle back in the second, you can still get Zach Frazier.
Ring, ring. The Buffalo Bills are on the phone. They have pick number 28, and they are offering you pick 128, which is at the tail end of the fourth round,
Yeah.
and pick number 133, which is a comp pick at the tail end of the fourth round.
Okay, so
Okay. Now wait a minute. Now that's a trade we've talked about before with Buffalo.
Yeah.
They have a pick at the end of the third round. Can we hold them up for that? Okay, that's the question you have to ask right now. It gets me. Do they have a pick at? What's their pick at the end of the third round?
I don't believe they have one.
I can see.
They go 60, 128, 133.
Let's see.
Yep.
They don't have a. They don't
No
have
third.
No third. Why was that a team that we were talking about? Buffalo and Baltimore were the two teams we were talking about.
Maybe it's Baltimore.
Baltimore, I thought both those teams had picks at the end of the third round.
Or I think it's San Francisco, actually. I think San Francisco
There were three
99.
teams. There
Was
were
it
three
99?
teams. There were three teams that we're dealing with. Did Buffalo just give up that pick? Because at one point in time, I know that we talked about Buffalo as a trade partner because of their wanting a wide receiver.
Well, those
And we were-
two picks, the two fourth round picks, 128 and 133, add up to plus 3.5 on the trade chart. So Dallas is plus 3.5 if they accept that. Two fourth-round picks. They're both at the tail
You
end
still
of the fourth round.
okay? I was thinking they had
gonna
it. I
find
was
out.
thinking they still had a go to Tankathon.
Yeah,
They
so
got-
we've got San Francisco has that pick 94.
okay.
Right at the end of the third.
So the best we're going to do from Buffalo are what, 2 4s or just 1 4?
2 4s, 128 and 133.
That puts us back in the mix.
You could get, if you move from 24 down to 31 from San Francisco, they would give you 94, which is that back half of the third round.
Right.
And they would also give you your original 124 back from Trey Lance.
Okay, so Brian, let me know if I'm on the right thinking here. So if we're going to do this, our conversation needs to be Buffalo. We think's coming up for a wide receiver, right?
That's what I thought all along because I thought there were 3 teams. Buffalo was the team that was targeting maybe a wide receiver.
They won Brian Thomas Jr.
The depth of the wide receiver thing, they might not come for one though.
So the teams behind us, let's say, all right, we do want a center. We got Green Bay, we got Tampa Bay, we got Arizona. Green Bay could take a center, right? Tampa Bay, I don't think so. I don't think Tampa Bay's. I mean, maybe they could be looking at a center. I don't think that's where they'll go. I don't think that's where Arizona's going to go. But is it worth moving out? And at 25, we got to wonder: is Green Bay going to take our guy if that's where we want to go?
It sounds like we got enough guys.
Okay.
I would argue for the center from Oregon myself. That's the one I would argue for. But I also realize though, this is probably my best chance to get picks. I feel comfortable with Frazier from West Virginia, but I just don't know. I would be kind of stuck, but I don't feel like that we're going to have another opportunity to do this.
Your camera just went sky high.
Oh, mine did?
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And then it came back and it pointed on me, so I gave it a side eye. All right, what are you thinking here? Jackson Powers Johnson? Or are you trading
that's
back?
what I mean. Your stack is going to tell you whether you make this trade or not.
Yeah.
If the room doesn't feel good enough about it, then I've got to step back and say, okay, you guys, you're going to win this one.
What do you think, Zach?
I like your argument. To me, if it's Barton, there's no chance I'm trading. I think Frazier is close enough to Powers Johnson where if Green Bay were to pull that trigger, I still feel good about Frazier at 28 to where I think it's worth it. I think I'm going to just go ahead and make this trade, cross my
Are we
fingers.
doing 49ers
JPJ.
or Bills? I'm thinking 49ers in my case.
So the 49ers.
You're getting the better-
You get a third. And see,
third.
this is why I was going to hold one of these teams up for that third, because it's the last pick of night 2. It's one of the last picks. So if I could get ahead of all those teams that are going to sleep on their board, I could pick off the best player and maybe I have a third round or second round grade on some.
I'm in on the gamble.
Would you, so 1 third-round pick for San Francisco or 2 fourth-round picks from Buffalo to move, and you're moving further down. Remember that. You're going 4 spots if it's Buffalo, and you're picking
The
up
Buffalo
2
picks are like the Buffalo picks are in the draft, right?
So they're 128 and 133
Yes.
in the fourth.
I'd rather pick up the third.
Or I could get 94.
Give me the third.
I
Take
want
him
an
the
extra
third.
Give
top
me the
100
third
pick.
because to me those Buffalo picks are like at the end of that 4th round. There are like 5th round picks if you
give me
really
the-
want to look at
Yeah,
it.
give me the 94
So
pick.
we're going to take the trade. We're going to trade back just for the heck of it. If we didn't trade back, the pick would be Jackson Powers Johnson. I think we can all
I would
agree with
argue that. I don't want to. I'm not trying to convince anybody here. I think our stack might say differently, though.
Yeah.
Our stack might say differently.
who are the tackles there? You said Mims.
Amarius Mims.
Your BYU guy, right?
Kingsley.
Kingsley Suamatia is still there. Tyler Guyton is there. I'm trying to see if J.C. Latham is gone. He's off the board, so you do not have Latham.
Yeah,
Fatanu is not there. He is gone. Joe Alt is not there. He is gone.
Waga.
Yes, he is gone. Sorry.
Just making sure, because that's the pick.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Fuaga, yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely open to moving back. I think you got enough tackle options, and I wonder. I think Powers Johnson might make it. I think he might make it.
Fashanu for Penn State is also gone. That's the other tackle.
All right, spin it. Let's see where we're going.
Okay, so we took the deal from San Francisco. We picked up 94, so we now pick twice in the 3rd round, and we're picking at 31. San Francisco takes Amarius Mims, Georgia, at 24. So that's what they came up to get a tackle. That's who they took. Wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. off the board to Green Bay.
Helps.
Buccaneers take a corner. Jackson Powers Johnson goes to Arizona at 27. So JPJ is gone.
Okay.
Tyler Guyton gone to the Bills at 28. A.D. Mitchell is gone to the Lions at 29. Chop Robinson is gone at 30. So on your board, Tyler Nubin, Peyton Wilson, Zach Frazier, Ladd McConkey. You still have a quarterback there if you want to try and trade out. Bo Nix is there if teams are interested. But I think we're trying to stay in and make this pick.
If
right?
if Nick lives in this building, and I trust Nick on this for about the whole thing about this BYU thing.
Makes one of us here.
Yeah.
He's still there.
No, I trust you on that too.
Is that your pick, or you're thinking that you can get Frazier at 56?
I think I can get Frazier at 56.
Okay.
So I would either go Kingsley or Edgerrin Cooper here.
It's interesting. Okay, so it's interesting because you said like Graham Barton's grown on you here lately.
Yeah.
Kingsley's grown on me quite a bit.
He's fun.
I had some concerns about the foot speed, the athleticism.
Yeah.
I think when you watch him, I mean, I love the size and the power that he plays with.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do feel more comfortable after, taking more of a deep dive and just, talking and bouncing notes around. I do think he could play left. And if they think he can play left, I think that's your pick there. Because to me, if you think you can make it to Frazier, or you've got some other options, whether it's a Cedric Van Pran, I think there's
Penn State guy.
I think there's a bigger drop off at tackle. If you believe that he's that guy, I'd go ahead and pull the trigger on the BYU tackle.
And if you miss on Frazier at 56, like you said, there's still going to be center options later in the draft.
Well, and now you've got an
guys
extra
feel-
third to
well,
where
you-
you could move up.
You guys feel good about this linebacker room you got currently?
See, that's where you would have to be all right with it as well. You would have to be okay with taking a linebacker day 3, I think, at this point.
Yeah, because
And I'm okay with that,
You
'cause
don't
I
feel
love-
good with your offensive line.
I love Wallace. I'm a big Wallace guy out of Kentucky.
I like Wallace too.
And
I think
myself.
he's going to go third.
Yeah, I think you could take him now third with that extra
Okay.
pick.
Got an extra pick.
That's fair. That's fair.
And you've got 4 picks in the top 100 now.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about your 4 biggest needs, you're talking O-line, linebacker, D tackle, and then insert name here for the third.
You guys got me convinced about the BYU guy. So if that's
Kingsley
if that's
Suamataia
what
is
the
the
room
pick?
wants to do, go.
Let's go Kingsley.
I'm cool with it. It was funny. I looked back in the draft guide, and I've updated my ranking since then. I had him as a fit for Dallas in the draft guide. He's actually number 7 on my list now in tackles because I've gone back and watched him a little bit with the recent news.
He is tough to work
He's a
around.
legitimate
He
player.
really is.
He's a load.
So he is the pick, Kingsley Suamataia, pick number 31 after trading out. So Zach Frazier is not there. He goes at 39 to the Carolina
All right.
Panthers.
That's all right.
So we thought about getting Zach Frazier
All
at
right,
56.
let's redo this.
Not the
just
case.
go back and take Frazier.
Here are some guys that are on the board at 56. You've got Keon Coleman. Oh, man.
Keon Coleman's there.
Here we go. Wait. He is there. Jonathan Brooks from Texas is there at 56. He's the number 2 player on this board specifically. Edgerrin Cooper is still there at Texas A&M. Then you've got a mess of guys. Chris Jenkins, Jalen Polk, Christian Haynes if you wanted a guard. If you wanted a linebacker, you've got Junior Colson there as well. Xavier Worthy from Texas is still available at wide receiver. You've also got Jalen Wright from Tennessee. Zach, I know you like Jalen Wright.
I do
out
love
of
Jalen
Tennessee,
Wright.
running
I think we could wait on Wright.
back. Okay,
You
so
said
there's your guys.
Wilson's still there too from North Carolina State.
He is not. He went off the board at pick
But
number.
Cooper.
But Cooper is.
Cooper is, yes.
It's going to come down to me for Cooper or Brooks.
That's it. That's it for me as
So
well.
you're not even thinking Keon Coleman?
Oh, Peyton Wilson was the first pick of the second round.
Wow. Okay.
Because out of those 3, Coleman's the best player for me.
So Carolina just took both of the picks you wanted, Peyton Wilson and
So
Zach
it sounds
Frazier.
like.
Now I can
Dang it,
easily be
Panthers.
talked off of Coleman because I think that it's just an embarrassment of riches at receiver, and we
Yeah.
can stretch this thing out. So I don't need to take Keon.
You guys
Coleman.
want to use that extra third we got, or for a running back? Because
Yeah.
that's probably where you're gonna. That probably would make the most sense.
I'd be eyeing
probably-
Jalen Wright.
You're probably going to miss out on both of those guys, I would have to assume.
I think Cooper might be the guy that you got to pull the trigger on here.
Yeah, I think
like
you're going
it.
to have more depth at running back there in round 3. I
Yeah.
think y'all are right.
And if you're talking about making an impact pick while also trying to pick for upside, which is what the Cowboys like to do with their second pick, is take a bit of a risk.
Yep.
But pick for upside. I don't think this is a risk. I think Edgerrin Cooper
it's
is a
safe.
legitimate linebacker
Yeah.
who's going to play
he's-
immediately.
I have him behind Wilson. I mean, yeah, the Coleman to me. I look at my wide receiver board, and I kind of feel like though I see that big body standing there, but I look down it and I see some other big bodies that I really like too.
Yeah,
So,
because you still got guys like Malachi Corley, Javon Baker,
Leggett.
yeah,
we'll see how-
McMillan.
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of good guys. So I'm with you. And Cooper, I think this is tremendous value to get him at this point.
I would go with Cooper here myself.
I'm with it.
I'm good. Let's do it. Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M is your second pick at 56. So right now the Cowboys have selected Kingsley Suamataia, picked up an extra 94th overall pick,
All right.
and then selected
Edgerrin Cooper. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll have the third round where we pick twice. Now, how about that? We're really good at this,
Brian,
guys.
we're wheeling and dealing, baby. Let's
This is
go.
fun.
We're so good, we're all doing radio.
This is
That's why.
awesome.
The scouts are laughing at us, but I love you guys. You guys are the true
what are we
gems.
doing?
We'll be back with more
We're
of the draft show right
enthusiastic
after
about
this.
Yeah.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
In a stressful world, Lincoln provides balance and calm amidst the chaos by creating sanctuaries that move you through the world with ease. Our vehicles make your time richer and more uplifting with human-centric design, intelligent technology, and powerful performance. As the official luxury vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys, driving a Lincoln is just another way to show your team pride. Experience our full lineup of luxury vehicles, including the Corsair, Aviator, Navigator, and Nautilus at Lincoln.com.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite. Taste you can depend on. This segment is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Want to remind you all to get your Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine Draft Guide, the official 2024 draft guide from the Star in Frisco. Features from myself, from Nick Harris, Patrick Walker, Nick Eatman, and a whole lot of the DallasCowboys.com crew. Check it out. It's full of draft prospects and bios for some of the top prospects in the country. All right, some of the guys that are in this magazine have been picked by the Cowboys Draft Show in our 7-round mock draft. Kingsley Suamatia out of BYU, the offensive tackle, was the selection at 31 after the Cowboys trade out with the San Francisco 49ers, and they pick up the 94th overall pick. Then they take linebacker Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M at 56. So we have 2 selections in the 3rd round, 87 and 94, within legitimate stone throws from each other. And the Cowboys can pick up some of their needs. Here are some of the names on the board. If you have a question about somebody that's not here, not named, let me know, and I'll
We're at
I'll
87,
update it.
right?
We're at 87 currently. Bucky Irving from Oregon, Trey Benson from Florida State. Remember, we did not take a running back at the 2nd round pick. So there's 2 guys that are right there at the top of the board.
Pick.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I knew it. Christian Mahogany, guard from Boston College. Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia. The center is still there. Mason McCormick, a guard that I really like a lot out of South Dakota State, is there as well. Some other names, Ray Davis from Kentucky, Zach Wolchuk.
I do love me some Ray Davis.
Michael Hall Jr., defensive lineman from Ohio State. Jeremiah Trotta, linebacker from Clemson, but Trotter, we already took a linebacker.
Got a linebacker.
So Van Pran's the best center.
That's what it looks like, yes. Yeah,
I'm
best
taking
center on the
Benson
board.
Here, hands down.
Trey Benson?
I'm taking
Oh,
Trey
I'm
Benson.
taking. He's my number 1 running back.
I'm saying hand that card in for Trey Benson right now.
Hey, you don't got to sell me. That's
Yeah,
RB1 for me.
I don't think you got to sell me either. I'm taking it. So it's 87, taking Trey Benson,
Yeah.
seeing what happens. Boom.
It's fire.
All right, that was easy.
94 is going to be the difficult part, I think.
94
Maybe
gets
we can get Van Pran.
Ooh. He's the top name still available on your board
I
at
would-
94.
I think that's tremendous. I think that's right around to where he should go. He's big. He's played in big games. I like the size, the toughness, the physicality. Third-round pick that's right around where I've got him going. I think Van Pran would be a home run type of selection here.
What do the defensive tackles look like?
That's what I was going to ask.
What are the defensive tackles
Getting
look like?
there. Michael Hall Jr., Dwayne Carter from Duke, Leonard Taylor III from Miami, McKinley Jackson from Texas A&M, but he's a little bit further down the board. He could be
I
a
think those are all
fourth-round pick.
fourth-round
I
guys.
love
for me.
Michael Hall.
But
I like
remember,
Michael Hall too.
I love him.
remember, we did not pick up a fourth-round pick.
Yeah.
So we
That's
will
right.
not have a selection in the fourth round. It's this one, and then our next selection comes up at 174.
Yeah.
So
We
we
gotta
got a
make
little
it-
bit of a ways.
Okay, do we have any trade offers?
I can see.
I think if you take defensive tackle here, you run the risk that Hunter Norzad will still be available in the 5th.
I like Norzad. I think Van Pran might be.
I got Van Pran over
Better.
him, but
I do too. I do too,
No, but I like what you're trying to do here. I do like you trying to find a defensive tackle. The thing about it is, are we looking at threes or are we looking at ones?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you're right about Hall from Ohio State. He's like 280 pounds, though.
Yeah.
He's a 3
Yeah, he's a
tech.
3.
He's
I mean,
a
that's,
three.
that's a
Hands
dude that's
down.
giving you pass rush
If
ability.
you're, you know, to me, maybe I don't know how you feel. Do you feel like this thing with having Osa, does that keep you from drafting a 3 technique?
Potentially, but I think that's also a situation where you can just bank on athleticism, and that defensive
This
line
kid's
is
a hell of a player.
Yeah.
He really,
You've got to
really is.
learn what Mozzie Smith is too. Is
Yeah.
Mozzie a true one again? Are you going to make him back into the one
The
that he
thing
was
is-
in Michigan?
Come
or
on,
is he
Mike
gonna be a
Zimmer,
three?
work some magic.
Yeah, you mentioned about 4 defensive tackles though that I
McKinley.
think are pretty good.
There is a
McKinley
trade
Jackson.
offer, by the way, too. There's a trade offer on the board. You did mention McKinley Jackson. I like him a lot. 94, and Seattle wants the center. They want Cedric Van Pran. They're trying to come up and get him. They've told you they give you the Jerry Jones trick, and they let you know on the board. They're coming up to get Cedric Van Pran, but they're going to give you 102.
That
which is
starts the day, right?
It's the
second pick of the
pick.
day.
Second pick of the day.
That's
and,
gold.
And they're going to give you 179. Both of these picks were originally Washington's picks. So they're going to give you those two.
So I'm
for
getting the
94.
second pick in the 4th round and then the 3rd pick in the 6th round.
I'm going to argue here that we take the center right now.
take the center.
I think I'm with you.
I think it's a risk to not take. I think Van Pran's the last guy that's like I feel I can plug and play and be pretty set.
I'll go with the room. I
like
Fight,
Norzad.
Yeah.
I do. I like
fight for-
Norzad.
Yeah.
You're going to fight for a tackle, right?
I'm fighting for a defensive tackle. I would probably a one tech.
If it was a 1, I would totally be with you here.
It would be probably McKinley Jackson. That'd probably be. The guy
I love
you'd be going
McKinley
for.
Jackson. I do, and I've got him like in the. But I
think Van Pran's just better.
I got him in the
He's a
4th.
I agree. And you have to be able to be
I
able
got
to
Van
draft
Pran
best
in the
player
3rd.
available.
Yeah.
So I understand that and not wanting to draft for need. But at this point, you're looking at going into day 3 still without your defensive tackle. Mozzie Smith is the only body that's still available there at 1 tech for you this time. Whenever
He
you
makes
get
a
to
damn
training
good
camp.
point.
But you look at the center position. Let's say you don't address that on day 2. You still have Brock Hoffman and T.J. Bass to be able to figure out that situation, and any guard that you could throw in the mix, whether that be on day 3 or in the undrafted pool. I feel like the defensive tackle need and how big it is, you would have to go for it on day 2.
This one's tough.
It is. It is.
Because
I'm standing on Van Pran.
if you're standing on
Standing
Van
on
Pran,
it.
Brian's standing on it. I'm indifferent, and you're probably against it. I'm indifferent because I think this is right around where Cedric Van Pran should go.
Me too.
And it addresses a need. But you are leaving a need out there. I can go either way with defensive tackle.
Again, what number do we pick up with Seattle trade? We go to 102, and what else we pick up?
102 and 179.
What's 179?
That's the 3rd pick in the 6th round.
6th round. That's not enough.
That's all they're giving you.
I mean,
I mean, I
that's
love
not
that
enough to
102
make me
pick,
move.
but yeah.
Darn it. I got Van Pran in the 3rd. I've got Jackson, those guys.
In the 4th.
In the 4th.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Nick makes a great point.
I like the argument.
Do you think you could get? Do you like? Let me ask you this real quick. Do you like the Penn State guy and like Limmer and those guys? Do you feel like you could be okay with there?
I feel like I could be okay there. That's why I'm okay with taking the defensive tackle and letting Van Pran walk. It'd be tough to do because I love Van Pran, but I feel like that depth at center on day 3 is a little bit better than defensive tackle.
All right. You know what to do just to have some fun?
Let's trade.
You trying to trade out?
No. Take the tackle. Take the tackle here and see if the center gets to us.
Take McKinley Jackson.
Yeah.
You're taking. Okay.
We're doing an exercise.
Okay.
Here.
Let's do it.
Let's
see
just
what you're saying.
gamble.
Let's go.
Let's gamble and
I'm cool with exercises.
And cool.
These types, not in the gym.
Exactly, I was about to say.
Okay,
I am
Mason-
I'm
not.
having to go
But
way
you-
down the list here.
You don't have Mason Smith, right? I mean, you
Nah, I would go McKinley Jackson.
Me too.
If it was
Oh, me
Mason
too.
Smith, then I would go Cedric Van.
I mean,
Pryne.
I'd argue for Dwayne Carter here too. I love
He's a
that
fun
kid
player.
out of Duke.
Yeah.
I think Dwayne Carter's got some massive upside, but I'm fine with McKinley Jackson. We know the Cowboys are interested.
okay. Gamble on Jackson and
Taking Jackson?
see if one of these centers gets to
So
us.
this is in this scenario a reach on a player that you know you're not going to get in the 5th round, just to
Yes.
reach on a player, right?
Yeah, just to see,
to fill a need,
just
and to go from
see,
there.
just to see which center shows up for us at the
Okay.
in this. And
So taking McKinley Jackson, now it's loading, it's going through, picking. We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting a long time on day 3. We better have a lot to talk about on this
Yeah.
show on day 3.
Sure, it's going to be fine. All right, here we go. So yeah, most of those names are no longer available for you.
so every one of those centers is gone. Then
yeah,
right?
they're pretty much gone. Here
Norzad?
I'm going to interior offensive line. Norzad is available. Norzad is still there out of Penn State.
Bo Limmer.
Drake Nugent from Michigan is another center. Bo Limmer is gone. Tanner Bortolini from Wisconsin, center, is still there. You've got Andrew Rame from Oklahoma, still there. Matt Lee from Miami is still there.
Okay, so
You still got guys.
Norzad would be the guy for me.
Just
out of those.
just
That
for the
bunch.
sake of the exercise, let's take a look at interior defensive tackle, or like defensive tackles in
Yeah.
general. Oh man, I don't know really any of these names. Evan Anderson from Florida Atlantic, Gabe Hall from Baylor,
Not a bad option.
Gabe Hall's not a bad.
Justin
player.
Rogers from Auburn. These are all decent
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
They have them way down this
But
list.
I think
Jawan
this-
Briggs from Cincinnati.
the gamble paid off because I think Norzad's better than all those guys.
Yeah, I think so
for
too.
sure.
So here at pick 174, we taking Norzad and running home with all of our
Yeah.
needs
I would.
taken care of.
Good job, bro.
I like
go.
this.
Let's go.
I like that a lot. All right, so taking Norzad.
Okay, now the question is about Jackson. I mean, that's going to be the one that might be the hinge for the draft right there. I mean, that's maybe on everybody's board they're going to call that a reach. I know I had him in the 4th round myself, so to me that's not a reach, but I'm sure the media will call it a reach.
So now that we've gotten to this point,
And the scouts are hating us right now.
they are all hating us.
But
They're
no,
laughing
but
us
yeah,
across
I
the room.
wanted to see what names were there. I mean, I just wanted to see if it was one of those things where you take him and then none of the names are there, then maybe you're like, wow, that was too much. But with all the names being there that were there, those centers, I think it was worth it, man.
And you're talking about Norzad. And we've talked about center all the way through. It was
Yeah.
Jackson Powers Johnson initially.
Well,
then it
yeah.
was Zach Frazier. Then it was Norzad. And then the 4th is what we settled on, or in the 5th is what we settled on. I think you feel good about the way you've addressed your needs.
How
to this
close
point.
on your guys' board is Van Pran and Norzad? Is it close?
Yeah, it is. It
It's
is.
not that close for me. I've got a round difference between the
I got
two.
a 3 and a 4 between the guys. Is what
Yeah.
I do. But you know what? That's
I've actually got Limmer kind of sandwiched in between them. But
I
I
do too.
love Norzad. Norzad's more physical than Limmer is.
I've got a 4th and a 5th. So we took Norzad right where I would take him.
okay.
And
We're good.
So I think it's a good selection. Now we're on the clock. It's 2:16. This is the tail end of the 6th round. Needs are taken care of. Are we hunting traits yet?
I think in the 6 you got.
Is that what we're going
yeah,
here?
I think you got to hunt.
I
some
think you're
traits.
starting to look receiver corner.
Okay.
potentially.
Yeah.
You want to hear some of the receiver names?
Edge.
yeah.
Okay, so Jordan Whittington from Texas, Dominique Lovett from Georgia, Zachary Franklin from Ole Miss, Lideritrick Griffin from Mississippi State, Hayden Hatton from Idaho are really the last names for wide receiver.
Let me throw a quick thought on the table when it comes to Alita Trick Griffin, which I think they call him Tutu out of Mississippi State. So Tutu Griffin.
That's cool.
I like to too.
Looking at what John Fossil has said about this new kickoff rule and kind of how the strategy will go around it,
Yeah.
expect to have 2 returners next year with the kickoff rule. So
Okay.
if you go and grab a receiver, do you go looking for a true X or do you go look for a guy who potentially has some return ability to put right next to Turpin? Now you do have Deuce Vaughn, don't get me wrong, but do you factor that in whenever you're thinking about potentially getting a receiver late on day 3?
Yeah, I think that you would have to consider that.
I think you absolutely would. I like the direction you're going there. I didn't really like all the names there.
Yeah, I don't like Tutu Griffin here. I don't think he's a draftable player.
Do we?
I think
Do we?
he's an undraftable.
Whittington would probably be my best name.
Yeah, Whittington.
Corner situations?
Give me the corner situation there.
Let me get down here. There's some names on the board, like recent names that Dallas has looked at for sure. Here are the corners: Daquan Hardy from Penn State, Miles Harden from South Dakota, AJ Woods from Pittsburgh, Marcellus Dial from South Carolina, Willie Roberts from Louisiana Tech, Jarius Monroe, Tulane, DeAndre Prince from Ole Miss, Dante Kent from Central Michigan.
Marcellus Dial is just such a Zimmer player.
That is a Zimmer guy, isn't it?
It's such a Zimmer player.
You think they let him pick after not? Well, no, they gave him a linebacker and a D tackle pretty early. Yeah. So he's pretty.
It's been pretty balanced offense and defense so far.
What about edge? What are we looking at with edge?
Getting there, edge. So Khalid Duke from Kansas State,
not a bad player.
Weaver from Kentucky, Trajan Jeffcoat from Arkansas, Cedric Johnson from Ole Miss, Miles Cole from Texas Tech, Charlotte edge rusher Oki Anoma, Steve Linton from Texas Tech. I think the only name that I'm even remotely interested in is Duke at the top.
Yeah, Duke would be the.
I like Miles Cole quite a bit, but
do you like him better than Duke?
Miles Cole's got length.
He's got athleticism.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that's a trades pick right there.
That's a trades
Miles
pick.
Cole. I'm with you. People love speak highly of him.
Talk to me about what you envision him as a player.
Yeah, I think you can move him between 5 and then off the edge out at 7. I think he's a little bit versatile there on the end. He's got that big body to where he can kind of body up a guard if he needed to. But I think if you want to maximize his athleticism, you throw him around on the edge, let him hand fight, and let him get around.
I agree.
Yeah.
Before we make this pick, I want to take our second break. 216, 233, 244. We've got 3 picks left. Got some other names here for 216 I want to throw out there before we make our final decision. More of our 7-round mock draft coming up next on the Draft Show.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood, hood.
In a stressful world, Lincoln provides balance and calm amidst the chaos by creating sanctuaries that move you through the world with ease. Our vehicles make your time richer and more uplifting with human-centric design, intelligent technology, and powerful performance. As the official luxury vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys, driving a Lincoln is just another way to show your team pride. Experience our full lineup of luxury vehicles, including the Corsair, Aviator, Navigator, and Nautilus at Lincoln.com.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, taste you can depend on. Head to the Miller Lite House at AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys Tacos and Tunes Festival presented by Miller Lite. Saturday, May 4th from 3 to 7 p.m. Enjoy a variety of tacos from regions across Mexico and food truck fare while you sip on cold drinks and listen to live music. Admission and parking are both free. Visit attstadium.com/tacos and tunes for more info. We will see you there.
What day is that? May 4th?
That's May 4th.
Hey, you might see me there.
I went last year.
That's Cinco de Mayo thing for you?
Hey, I'll do some tacos. I'm always down for some tacos.
Who doesn't love a good taco?
Yeah, come on now.
That's birthday weekend for me. That's going to be a fun
Oh,
one.
happy birthday.
Well, it's in like 3 weeks.
Early birthday.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate you. All right. Also, wanted to thank everybody who signed up for the Fan 105.3's Draft 101.
Yeah.
105.3 The Fan putting on a cool little event across the way for the for draft fans out there, April 18th, and man, sold out, right?
Sold out, yeah, in an afternoon. And again, thank to Miller Lite as well for being a presenting sponsor there as well. And thanks to the Cowboys too for the partnership that we have with them and with you guys and working on the draft. It should be a great night. We've done these before where fans come in and It's kind of a kick it around. You know, they ask questions, you give them answers. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of fun. So, again, really do appreciate Derek Eagleton, the Cowboys, the Jones family for allowing us to be here.
There you
that.
go. 105.3 The Fan.
awesome.
Doing great job on draft work. All right. We've got more draft work to do here inside the SWBC studio. 216, 233, and 234 or 244 are on the board for the Cowboys.
I'm not liking these names you're talking
Run us through
about.
our picks that we've already picked again.
So right now, the Cowboys have taken care of pretty much all of their draft needs. At pick 31, they take Kingsley Suamatia. At pick 56, they take Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker out of Texas A&M. Then in the third round with 2 selections, you take Trey Benson, running back from Florida State, McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle from Texas A&M, and then you go all the way down to the back half of the 5th round, and the Cowboys take Hunter Norzad, center from Penn State. So needs are pretty much addressed. You've hit everything need-wise, or at least breakneck need-wise. This could be double-dip territory, though, and the reason I say that, there's some names here that are intriguing
real quick,
in those positions
real
that
quick,
have already been
selected.
selected.
Real quick, can I ask you a question? I know we did the drill, but in real life, do you think you would have to take Norzad before you take Jackson? You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at the way that it fell, we saw it fell good for us, but in reality.
You think
feel like
it's more of a value?
Do you think people will value Jackson less
Because of the defensive tackle position.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I truthfully, I don't feel like
now
either of them
I'm
would be
interested to see if Jackson would have been there at the Norzad pick.
there. Yeah. I don't think he would have been in this situation.
I can't remember.
In
I would have,
reality, I
No,
don't
I know
think
you
so
can't.
either.
No, I just was wondering. I was just in my mind. I was just playing it like, okay, you got both guys super happy, but I wonder if you could you have flipped it?
What number was it that we ended up pulling the trigger on Norzad?
It was 174.
So he's not going to get the Jackson is not going to get to the 5th.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think he's probably going to go in the 4th. Yeah.
okay. If that's the case, no, I was just wondering. Okay, carry on.
So here are some of the names. Possible double dip. We've looked at corner, not great. Looked at wide receivers, not great.
Edge, not great.
Edge, not great. Jalen Ford, linebacker from Texas,
I like
is a
this
name.
one. I like this.
Tanner Bartolini from Wisconsin is still there.
Okay.
You've got down here, Brandon Coleman, offensive tackle from TCU, is still there.
Whoa.
Curtis Jacobs, linebacker from Penn State, is still there. Keith Randolph Jr. from Illinois is still there. Defensive tackle. And then you've got Darius Muasau, UCLA linebacker, also available. So you can double dip at some of these positions.
I like Darius Muasau.
Muasau's good. I like Ford a lot myself.
Yeah.
How did Coleman get through here?
He's
Coleman
down there.
Coleman might be the guy that you got to go ahead and take.
Brandon Coleman. I'm
My
okay with taking
goodness.
another tackle. I am completely okay with taking
I'm
another
always
tackle.
cool with feet. And I think Coleman gives you some guard flexibility.
With the selection of Kingsley Suamatia at 31, do you feel like you have more depth at offensive tackle than you do a linebacker now that you've taken Cooper?
You've got.
No, I think you have more depth at linebacker right now.
Really?
You got Overshown, Damone Clark, Cooper, and Eric Kendricks, at least going into 2024.
That's fair.
You look at
Can you expect one of them to go all 4 of them to go all season, though?
I mean, yeah.
You got to bring Marquise Bell back down?
That's part of it. I'm not saying the depth is great.
Yeah.
I'm just laying it out.
Yeah, but at tackle.
You look at tackle, and you got Kingsley Suamatia now. You got Terrence Steele. Then after that, it's just Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko.
Yeah.
Chuma
Well, I think he's. I still think he's a guard. Austin Richards, but
there's more names at tackle.
There's more names, but I think there's more
actual
production
depth.
and reliability at linebacker.
Can we take a quick look at safety?
Sure. Let's see what safety's doing.
I just was
here.
curious what names there at the safety spot.
Oh man, where is?
I'm starting to feel about safety kind of how I feel about tight end in this draft when it comes to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's like I don't feel like either of those positions you even need to like think about.
Okay.
That's just how
There's
I
just
think.
a lot of good safeties to where depending on
There are,
what the board's looking
Better
like.
than-
I wouldn't hate safety. I would hate tight end, but I wouldn't
consider.
Trey Taylor from Air Force, Dominique Hampton from Washington,
I
Tyler
really love him.
Owens
Okay.
from Texas Tech, Kenny Logan Jr. from Kansas, Josh Proctor from Ohio State.
He's a
Mark
good
Perry
player.
from TCU.
Hampton would be. I still can't believe Coleman's there, and it might be too much of a value not to take him. And I really do like Ford from Texas. Yeah. That is a big, long, rangy, get after you kind of guy at linebacker. I mean, this team. I don't know.
Ford would probably be my highest rated player. Actually,
I think I would have Coleman over Ford.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
okay
close.
with either. I'm okay
I mean,
with
I got to
either.
stack them. I'm stacking them. I stacked my first round last night, but I
have a 5th on both of them, but I have Ford as a tiny bit higher than Coleman.
I got 3s on both those cats.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's why when you said Coleman,
You like 'em.
you got my attention.
Yeah, I've got a 4 on Ford.
What do you guys value more, offensive tackle or linebacker? Just in general. Don't think about depth, just position group.
I always value the offensive
That's what
line.
I'm thinking too.
Probably take the tackle.
I'm
I think
taking
that tackle. I
Brandon
think he could play guard.
I do too. I think he's got some flex.
If that's the case, let's take him.
All right.
Then you may have a backup guard there too if something happens, God forbid, in the middle. So Brandon Coleman is your pick at 216. Let's see what happens here at 233. Any of these names? Darius Muasau still available from UCLA. Evan Anderson, defensive tackle from Florida Atlantic, is still there. A lot of those safeties that we just mentioned still there. Any thoughts here at 233?
Where's Edge?
Edge is still gross. Let's just
It's gross?
Yeah, it's gross.
Not even like a super bendy guy. With
Duke
some
is still
speed?
there. Duke from Kansas State is still available.
Ford's gone though.
Ford is gone. Yeah, Ford.
Muasau?
Muasau is still
Muasau's
there.
there.
Yeah, still there.
I got some love for Muasau, and I think
I do
that dude
too.
can also be a special team star.
I like Muasau, and you just passed on
Instincts.
Jalen Ford. I would love to pick him up and bring in.
I'd
some
be
depth.
very interested in some Muasau guys.
Jay Luxon is long gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
I would
I just
personally.
mocked myself, and I got some jokes on.
Sundiata Anderson from Grambling State, is he long gone?
That's a premier undrafted rookie free agent right there.
Hey,
You said his last
so
name
go
is
ahead and get him as a
Anderson?
comp pick in the 7th, so you don't have to deal with a bidding war.
That could be fine.
You said his last name is Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, he's not here.
You
He's not
guys,
available.
you get anybody like Hampton from Washington?
The safety.
Yeah.
I
I'll
do
be
like
100%.
Hampton.
I have not watched Hampton yet.
I'll tell you what, man. If
I need to put him on the list. I need to watch him tonight.
yeah, to me, this guy's interesting just in the way of. I mean, when you watch him play at Washington, it's like he's so physical, and the way that he it's amazing to me because he's one of those guys that can play slot, he can play back, he can play up. He played a ton of games. He's a 6th-year player at Washington. Played 57 games, and there's some straight line speed to him. But man, he takes a run at receivers from depth. He is going to try and hit you at full speed at impact every single time. He wants to be a force in the running game. He's explosive. I mean, he communicates. The pre-snap, you see him like lining guys up. I think he sees the field really, really well. I mean, I think you can count on him to play coverage, and the experience, the toughness is a big part of his game. I would fight for a guy like that at 6'2", 215 pounds.
I like the plus length. I love what he does in coverage. The knocks that I had against him was being a little bit too aggressive in attacking ball carriers. His angular pursuit is not the best.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that plus length, it offers a closer gap to be able to fill those, to be able to solve that problem than anybody else who would have, average arms, not the 33 1/4 inch arms that he would have in this situation. But I think he's a fine
if
player.
you guys got another guy,
you don't have a safety yet. I need to watch the player, but the description you've given me at this point in the draft, and he can play special teams for you. If Bones likes him, sign up.
Yeah, and maybe the problem is he's played 6 years.
Just an older cat.
Yeah, but this is the 6th round. It's not like you're trying to draft.
Are we in the 7th or in the 6th?
7th.
Oh, okay,
so even more.
Yeah.
So.
See, to me, I think the experience and the toughness are just a huge part of his game. Yeah, the stuff that Nick, you're right. I mean, you're right about the player.
You're not planning on a second contract necessarily with this guy anyway. If it happens, then hell yeah. You got yourself a steal.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you take a chance on him. I don't know. I'm like you. I need to go back and watch him. But based off of what you guys are saying,
who was the other guys you had?
The mold.
Did you have an edge that you really liked?
I threw out Sundiata Anderson, but he's not on the board.
He's not there.
Yeah, Jalix Hunt is long gone.
I would fight for this kid then. I would fight.
I'd fight for Muasau, but I haven't seen your guy, and we don't have a safety.
See, I would fight for Muasau, and I haven't seen him either. So I'm good with.
What do you think about Muasau as compared to this guy?
He's a little bit more narrow than I would appreciate at the linebacker position. Is Jordan McGee still available?
Yeah. That would be another one.
Because if Jordan McGee's there, I'm probably going Jordan McGee. He is?
He is available.
I would probably take Jordan McGee there, too.
Over both of those guys?
I'll tell you what, the thing about McGee,
what do you not like about McGee, Zach? I know you've been
he's just like look, at this point.
Guys, we're in the 7th round.
I'm not going to have an issue taking Jordan McGee here.
Yeah.
I just see a tweener type of player. He's playing linebacker. He's built like a safety. You just went through that with Marquise Bell. And heck, Marquise Bell played his rear off, right? But the athleticism's there. To me, I don't always see the instincts with him. I think he can get washed out of plays. He can struggle to get off blocks, but he can run, man. I mean, he's got sideline to sideline speed. I think the coverage ability is there. So at this point, I'm not against McGee. I think we've talked a ton about you need instinctive playmakers at linebacker. I think you see instincts from Muasau when you watch him play.
I agree.
I see a lack of that with McGee. If you want to go just based off of athleticism, McGee's your guy. To me, I just think a guy that can actually, I think, find a home and a role on your team. I think I could play Muasau, and I'm not going to have a ton of concern about his ability.
Picking at 233.
They're both the same size, basically.
I know, but Muasau's a little thicker, I think. I mean, maybe he's just a little bit filled out.
I'm just going on size. I wish I could physically see these guys walk.
And that's one of these things.
You guys saw them you saw Marcel at the
Shrine Bowl.
Shrine Bowl.
Like,
I've seen
to
both
me.
of these guys, and I'm going to kind of give you a comparison here because you brought up Marquise Bell as
Yeah.
well. Marquise Bell, 6'3", 205, so he's got more of a longer frame. Darius Muasau at 6 foot, 225 pounds, a little bit more,
He's
abbreviated, but a little bit more stockier. Jordan McGee, 6'1", 228, and he's just long. I think that's probably where you see the narrow frame because I'm with you. You look at that torso and it like comes in a little bit. It's like an hourglass body, but
you can add if
but
you're a
I kind
7th
of
round
like
pick,
short and stocky linebacker. Like I think Dexter Coakley.
And this is a developmental type of player in the 7th round.
Yeah.
So if you want to put weight on Darius Muasau, put weight on Darius Muasau.
you have more room to put weight on Jordan McGee.
Okay.
You do.
Do you
have
feel
10
like
more pounds to
at
put on
233 going down and picking at 244, do you feel like you have a better chance at snagging either one of those linebackers again or Dominic Hampton, the safety of Washington, again? I don't think Washington's going. Hampton, sorry.
I'll let you guys take your linebacker, and I'll pray that Hampton gets there. I will.
I'm okay with Hampton. I mean, you don't have a safety. I just haven't seen him, so I can't really fight in that.
Let's go with what we know. Let's go with take one of these linebackers.
Which one would you take? Go.
McGee.
Okay.
McGee.
Okay.
I'd go Muasau.
Okay. I would go Muasau.
That's fine with me.
Beam,
you're the tiebreaker. Who are you taking? Jordan McGee or Darius Muasau, the linebackers? Which one are you taking?
Muasau.
Let's go, Beamer.
Out of the back row of the scouts.
I love that.
I do. I like it.
That's
Oh
Paxton
my gosh.
Anderson coming in with the tie-breaking vote.
Guys, I'm
in the war room.
gonna apologize here. I missed the name, and I think we would have taken him at 230.
It's Hopper.
No, your very favorite linebacker that you expected to be gone in
Out
the
of UTEP?
mid-rounds. Not UTEP.
Trevin Wallace?
Trevin Wallace is still on the board.
What?
Oh.
What? What are we doing?
Okay, so we're just going to pretend
Just
we took
pretend
Trevin
we
Wallace.
took Trevin Wallace.
Pretend we took Trevin Wallace.
His name wasn't on the top of the list.
Wallace
I
is
apologize.
there?
Wallace somehow fell. I think what we did was more realistic. I don't think Wallace makes it that far.
I don't
You
either.
just got
He's
yourself.
gone on day 2.
You just got your 6th round Donovan Wilson, Anthony Brown.
There you go.
Like,
So we're gonna
Xavier
just got yourself
Woods,
fired.
Plug and play. Let's
Just say
go.
he's
I'm just
gone.
reading the
He's
cards.
gone. He's gone.
I think he's out. I think we've taken Darius Muasau in the 7th round as a more likely pick than Trevin Wallace in the 7th round. Okay, so in the picks between 233 and 244, Hampton went the pick after. He went at 234.
Wow.
Who took him?
The Indianapolis Colts.
Damn.
So, man, all of these names
I
are the
blame
ones
you
we've
for that
mentioned.
one, Nick.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, throw it on me.
I
Throw
take
it
back
on
my
me.
high.
Listen to this. This is funny. All of the names that we mentioned from 233 to 244 are pretty much done.
They're all gone.
Hampton gone. C.J. Hansen from Holy Cross gone. Willie Roberts from Louisiana Tech gone. Donovan Jennings from USF gone. Curtis Jacobs gone. Isaiah Davis gone. Tanner McLaughlin gone.
Davis.
Trey Knox gone. Khalid Duke is gone. And Evan Anderson goes the pick before to the Browns.
What about a receiver here? We going to try and pull the Jalen Brooks special back-to-back years?
Ooh, that'd be fun. You got 2 names to choose from. Hayden Hatton from Idaho and LeDeritrick Griffin, the guy you mentioned out of Mississippi State.
That's it?
What is it?
That's all?
That's it. That's it.
Tutu
That's all I
Griffin?
got.
That's the only 2 names they have on
I mean,
the list.
look, I'm down to take a guy named Tutu. I'm down for Tutu Griffin.
Oladapo from Oregon State, the safety, is still there.
I would fight for him.
I like Oladapo.
I know you like him.
I would absolutely fight for that
I'm with
guy.
that.
Blake Watson, Memphis running back, is still there. Jared Wiley, TCU, is still there.
Nah.
Jared Wiley.
I know, but
there's no way Jared Wiley lasts to this point. I'm telling you, teams are probably going to like Jared Wiley. Jared Wiley's receiving ability.
Is it Catan? Or you say Kitten? How do you say the kid? Oladipo.
Keaton Oladapo. Yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah. Oladapo.
6'2", 216. This guy's pretty damn good. I wish he was a little bit more twitchy, but super impressive the way he's around the ball.
Okay.
I mean, you watched the USC game. He had a sack on a blitz. I mean, he could bring it off the edge. Strong tackler. Plays a really high motor, high effort guy. If you're going to draft trades, this guy's got size.
Yeah.
And he's got length and he's got strength. And I feel like he can move pretty well. With
playing in the NFC against so many legit tight ends.
Yeah.
You want a guy that can man up on tight ends. Yeah. He's one of the best safeties in the class and manning up on tight ends.
Especially with Curse not being on this team right now. Yeah. So I'm with you guys on that. I do think Watson out of Memphis is intriguing to me when you bring up the return ability. Mm-hmm. I mean, Watson's. I mean, you get the comp with Pollard just because they went to the same school. But Watson, watching him at that East West Shrine Bowl, his ability to run in between the tackles really impressed me because he's not a huge guy. He's a little, but the speed's there, the receiving ability. Like I get it. You've taken Trey Benson earlier.
We take him. How many plays is he going to play for us in the game?
Like Watson?
I'm going to ask the Parcells question.
No, you're right. I mean, he 5 to 8,
if that.
Do you want to take a chance?
Because he's he plays special teams,
fair,
and then maybe you'd sprinkle him in.
I was thinking carries, and I was
I mean, offensively, maybe 3 to 5.
Yeah,
we could take a chance on a quarterback here. It's the final.
Did you forget Caleb Williams on the board or something like that?
Yeah, he's sitting right here.
Jordan Travis.
No, Tagovailoa is still there from Maryland. We talked about Sam Hartman on Tuesday. He's still there.
Oh, Brian, Sam Hartman.
Keaton Slovis from BYU. Devin Leary from Kentucky.
Should we go the Packer way here? Just go ahead and always take a quarterback in the draft.
I tell you, Sam Hartman is intriguing to me. I don't know what happened to the young man. At one time in his life, he was talked about as one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And he went he put really Wake Forest on the map with the way he played. Went to Notre Dame, and I know they went to a bowl game and stuff. Probably not the type of season that they wanted to have, but I don't know. If you're going to throw a dart, I would throw a dart at him.
I think
I do
great hair, by the way.
Oh, outstanding hair. I mean, the guy's a model.
Oladipo from Oregon State makes a hell of a lot of sense though,
Oladipo
too, for me.
Oladapo.
Is that
it's not Victor Oladipo's cousin?
Oladipo. No,
Dapo.
Like you're not drafting an NBA star.
Oladapo.
All right, let's dap it up.
That's on me. Oladapo. Yeah.
So is that what we're picking? Is Oladapo here?
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I think in real life you would
Special
take Hartman,
teams
but
too.
Hartman's not going to be there in the 7th round. If we're sticking to being realistic, I think Keaton Oladapo goes here.
I think there's a possibility some of these quarterbacks, these lower tier quarterbacks.
I don't think
Slovis and guys like that maybe, but this kid,
I think Hartman's out in the 4th.
I don't. I mean, I think
if Brock Purdy can go as Mr. Irrelevant, I think Sam Hartman can go undrafted.
I would say that Hartman.
I had a better grade on Brock Purdy than I did
on Hartman.
Would you say that Hartman, when you watch him, is better than Purdy?
From college tape?
Yeah, from college tape.
I'm taking Purdy over Hartman.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my thought process. I don't think it's out of the ordinary that he's sitting there.
I'm with you. Like Sam Hartman does have some ability that you're thinking.
I think
if you're going to take a dart throw, take Hartman.
That's a dart throw. I think what you guys are saying with Oladapo. I keep getting confused. So Oladapo.
By the way, Hartman was a fan favorite at the combine.
People liked him at the combine
because he was the only one that ran, and every time he ran, he got a standing ovation.
Well, because his hair was flowing like foam.
Yes,
it's like Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
He looks a lot better than Lord Farquaad.
He's a little taller.
A lot taller.
But if you're going to take a special teams possibility, Oladapo is that guy.
Yeah. It's fine with me.
So you've got special teams production.
He could end up starting for you.
He might end up starting the way he plays.
Sure.
He's that kind of guy.
Then let's take him.
He might be a better 6'2" safety than that USC kid.
If we're asking the Bill Parcells question,
this might be our Tom Brady moment here.
I'm always looking for that.
This might be our Tom Brady moment. We passed on a guy that ends up being a really good player.
I'm okay with taking Hartman then. You've convinced me. You've convinced me. I'm okay with it.
We're taking Sam Hartman. Why not?
You want the Dap boy.
You know what, though?
You take out. I'm cool with taking Hartman.
This is what you do, man. And if you're going to throw a dart on a guy, I would throw a dart on him. I would throw a dart on this guy.
On Hartman?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's throw a dart. So Sam Hartman is our pick. Hey, if they don't end up throwing a dart on him and he ends up being Tom Brady, then we all look really smart on this show. We can always point back to this show.
Yes.
Here's your draft class, Cowboys fans. Cowboys trade out of pick 24, receive pick 94 in exchange with the San Francisco 49ers. And with that 31st pick, they take Kingsley Suamataia from BYU, the center early on. Then you've got at pick 56, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker from Texas A&M. Trey Benson from Florida State. The tailback is the third-round pick.
All right so far.
Extra third-round pick, McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle from Texas A&M.
They're going to question on us on that one.
Yeah, they said D on
You better hope
this
that
grade.
hits.
Yeah.
You better hope that hits.
Yeah, that one was a little bit of a reach, but you didn't pick from 94 to 174. That's 80 selections that you had to wait.
Determined he was not going to be there in the 5th. That's why you make the pick.
That's why you reached on him and got it done.
Yeah.
Hunter Norzad, Penn State center, was there.
Might have got value there.
That's your value pick for waiting.
We did.
Brandon Coleman saw some value on the backside too. Offensive tackle at 216. Darius Muasau from UCLA, the linebacker at 233 as you double dip both at tackle and at linebacker. And then you throw a dart at Sam Hartman, Notre Dame at 244. There's your pick.
Wow.
I think that Benson pick might be my favorite.
Yeah.
The Benson one is.
Oh, that Benson pick's juicy.
Well, and you've got a legitimate starting linebacker. Think about the combination of Edgerrin Cooper along with DeMarvion Overshown.
Yeah.
Those two together is going to be
Speed
fun at
for
the second
days.
level.
Yeah.
And then you've got a linebacker,
Come on, Jackson. Come on,
offensive tackle
Jackson.
working.
Come
Yeah, you got to
on,
get
Jackson.
McKinley Jackson to work.
Yeah.
Apparently, we did this on Pro Football Focus. They ranked us in the top 90% of Cowboys drafts.
Nice.
Nice job, guys. Well done.
Yeah, if you have DeMarvion Overshown and
That
Edgerrin
probably
Cooper
means
there,
it's going to be a bad draft.
if you have Overshown and Cooper there playing in the linebacking core for the Cowboys for the next 6 years, it's like Aggies and Longhorns fans doing like the Blood and Crips, like tying the bandanas
But
together.
the blitzing ability of both of them, Mike Zimmer can have a lot of
It was
fun.
good. Good fun.
There's
That
a
was
lot,
great.
lot of options at the
All right,
second
Twitter
level.
on the 20 or
Yeah, so when we come back, we're going to hit it on Tuesday.
Folks.
Yeah, we're going to hit it on Tuesday. Took up the whole show, but hey, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
That
fun.
was a blast.
I
Good
enjoyed
job.
that.
All right, War Room Central here at the SWBC studios. For Chris Beam, Nick Harris, Brian Broaddus, Zach Wolchuk, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We will see you next week on the Draft Show.
2 more weeks.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?